so today we're going to be taking a look at the Umbra driver, which belongs to the Alchemist gun line, and we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the gun. And one of its most noticeable features are the 3 canisters that run along each side of the weapon. And the canisters seem to be filled with some shadowy fluid that the gun shoots out later. And the gun also has a pretty sweet shadow aura. And right there is the gun's muzzle. So overall, it definitely looks pretty sweet, and now we'll take a look at the performance side. So the Umbra driver has 2 shots in a clip, and each of the shots has potential to ricochet. And the gun's charge attack behaves much like the regular shots. It's basically just a larger version. As you can see, it's a big shadow ball, and when it comes in contact, it splits off into 4 little shadowy balls, and each of those balls can behave like a regular shot. So it's definitely a really cool feature. And now we'll take a look at some of the gun's stats and features. So first off, the Umbra driver deals pure shadow damage, and because the gun deals pure shadow damage with no chance of inflicting a status, it deals higher base damage, and we'll take a more in-depth look at that a little bit later. And as we previously saw, the shots ricochet, and we'll also be looking at that a little bit closer later on. So because the gun deals pure shadow damage, it's great when used against the slime and the gremlin family. And as you can see right here, we're dealing 135 damage with our first shot, and you have to remember that shot can also ricochet, so that's really good. Now the gun is not good when used against the undead or the fiend family. And as you can see right here, we're definitely not making much of a difference against these slags. Like with our first shot, 33 damage. That is definitely not desirable. And here's a look at how the gun's ricochet acts in the field. So you're going to want to pay attention to this next charge shot. And as you can see, it bounces off that herd of gremlins, and then it travels over to that gun puppy. So with just that one shot, we were able to affect 2 different enemies in very different places. And now we'll take a closer look at that damage difference that I was talking about earlier. And we're going to be comparing the base damage of an alchemist that deals status against one that just deals pure damage. So first off, we're going to be using the Umbra driver, and we're getting 191 damage with each first shot on the families that it's strong against. Now with the hail driver, we're getting 159 damage, but we're also able to cause a status. And we get the same results if we used any other driver that also causes a status against the Umbra driver. And this difference takes place because since the status drivers deal a status along with their damage, they would be overpowered if they also had the same base damage as a gun that didn't deal status along with its normal shot. So it's basically just a balancing issue. Now if you are interested in getting an Umbra driver, you'll first need to get your hands on a Chawkthree Alchemist. They can take that to a Chawkthree Alchemist Mark II. They can take your Mark II to a Shadow driver. And finally, you can take your Shadow driver to an Umbra driver. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in Spiral Knights.